What's up, guys? Reform Stoic here. So I got 4 tabs open on YouTube regarding the Israel-Hamas War. So I'm going to go ahead and play these clips and see if I can give any sort of a reaction worth a damn. I'm a little bit tired right now. I fasted all day and had my shake, and I'm trying not to pass out. And, I'm not really like a war guy. I got some commentary on wars that happened a long time ago, but let's just see if I have anything worthwhile to say regarding this, see if I can cough up some commentary, and if not, then I'll just watch these clips and not post this, but let's go ahead and get started. Feds issue warning of potential threats to U.S. amid Israel-Hamas war. I have a feeling this has something to do with Islamic terrorism in the United States. Let's go.
Escalating Mideast tensions not only prompted that rare global travel alert from the State Department, federal law enforcement officials are also warning of potential threats right here in the U.S. Get the details from CBS's Catherine Herridge.
With emotions running high at protests across the country, in New York City to Chicago and Washington, D.C., a new federal law enforcement bulletin obtained by CBS News warns individuals or so-called lone offenders inspired by or reacting to the ongoing Israel-Hamas conflict pose the most likely threat to Americans.
There has been a significant increase in reported threats all across the country.
Attorney General Merrick Garland saying today the increased threats target Jewish, Muslim, and Arab communities. The intelligence bulletin details reports of physical assaults, bomb threats, and online calls for mass casualty attacks. With metal barricades again securing the U.S. Capitol and armed security at places of worship, a separate alert from New York City police identifies an uptick in violent neo-Nazi messaging online and finds foreign terrorists like al-Qaeda are calling on followers to attack Americans and Western Europeans.
Current threat environment is dynamic and complex.
Javed Ali is a former counterterrorism official.
Can Homeland Security stop the violence from coming here?
Homeland Security is in an excellent position to try and prevent any foreign-directed threat from entering the United States, but unfortunately, you can never have 100% security in these kind of moments.
While there's no specific or credible threat here at home, multiple officials described the situation to CBS News as evolving, with law enforcement on standby, ready to respond. Nora.
Catherine Herridge, thank you very much.
Okay, so yeah, as everybody knows, we've had lots of refugees to the United States and to Europe. And of course, we celebrate the freedom of religion here. So it's not like Islam has never been allowed here. Obviously, the United States is siding with Israel. So obviously, anti-Jewish sentiments, neo-Nazi stuff, they're going to be pointing that out. And they're going to be warning, it sounds like they just did, about basically radical Islamic terror is making kind of a comeback. Let's read some comments. Escalating seems to be trending MSM talking point. Yes, things are escalating, apparently. Hopefully these threats are handled better than our southern border. OMG, who didn't see that coming? Stay vigilant, my fellow Americans. Enemies are already in our country, as my dad says. Have situational awareness. Yeah, well, with that could just come a lot of commentary on multiculturalism and how maybe sometimes, especially in times like this, it's not ideal, but I'll save it. We can read between the lines. Okay, TRS clips. World War III is coming. Robert Kiyosaki's message to the world. Hopefully we're good to play this here. This should be interesting. Let's check it out.
Highlights channel of the Ranveer Show. This is TRS Clips.
Hopefully the accent's
It's the honor of my
not too thick here.
life to have you in my house. You've done a lot for the world, which is also why I'm asking you about the kind of world you'd like to leave behind.
I'm teaching prosperity, happiness, money, truth. schools are this. I fought against this. Would you like these people to take over India? You don't know, do you?
No, I do. I definitely wouldn't want a
This
communist.
guy's hardcore, dude. This old this old Asian guy. He's got this guy nervous laughing. He's like, "You want communists to take over India?" Man, this guy's got some big energy. Oh, nice little Dragon Ball Z collection over there. Let's go.
Government.
That's why I came in here. I said, Mr. Modi is so well respected. He's a good man.
Okay.
I wouldn't want his job. Let me tell you why. I said it before. The world is now split in two. It's called Russia, China, America, India in the middle. India's caught now in the middle of the biggest changes in world history. And the war is going to...
He's scaring this guy, dude. This guy's hardcore.
We're going to go to war. I can tell already. So it's going to be China versus America. You guys already know because...
China versus America. Is it going to be China and Russia? So America, EU, Israel versus China, Russia, and then we side with Taiwan, something like that.
Because you have Pakistan, you still have Kashmir. We're still at war here. But if you don't fight, people just take everything. I wish there wasn't war. Let's live like the Beatles and be painful. It's not the way life is. What's killing America today is all these hippies. They say, there's no more police. Did you know that? They're taking police away from America. Did you know that? And there's violence breaks out. Could you imagine if there was no police here?
Are they taking away police? I heard people whining about that. I don't know if that's actually happening. I guess I'm kind of neutral on police. Like, yeah, I think we need police, but also sometimes the police aren't that great. I have just recently had positive interactions with my local police. Let's go. Good job, boys in blue.
There'd be chaos. So many people live in this very, very little, if we could all live like we're in heaven. Well, we don't. We live here on planet Earth. It's a great place. I'm having a good time. Okay, there's a lot of work to do here.
Okay.
To make people's lives better.
Do you think this is a third world war situation?
Third World War?
Yeah.
We're going to war right now.
Okay.
Don't you see it? Taiwan, Ukraine.
Yeah.
Saudi Arabia.
Because you've been a part of war yourself?
I went to school for war. I'm an academy graduate. I don't know if you know.
Yeah, this is basically like a wake-up call for me, guys. I have not been paying attention to war stuff. The Israel thing, I hear a little bit about hostages and Gaza Strip and, people turning off utilities and stuff in Gaza, Israel shutting down the utilities, and Hamas attacks, and I guess it's time to start getting schooled, guys. So let's just keep on trucking along here.
Only certain young men are chosen for these schools. We're trained in war.
Okay.
You guys have it too. So it's like you train people to be doctors, and you train people to be lawyers and electricians. Every country has a school for military officers. I was one of the two selected. We're trained to kill people. Okay.
Do you have a
He's grilling this little guy, dude. This guy's shook.
message for the world about war? Like, there are people who are listening to you right now about you speaking about a world war. Is there a message?
It's coming. You've heard of Taiwan?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what are they after there?
The semiconductors,
Yes.
raw material.
So about 20 years ago, I was living in Portland, Oregon. Taiwan Semiconductor, TSC, moved to Arizona. So where did I move to? Arizona. Because when the Taiwan Semiconductor, I'm a capitalist, okay? When they moved in there, the economy boomed. Because real estate, prosperity depends on jobs. Am I correct? You don't understand what I'm saying, do you? When Taiwan Semiconductor moved to Arizona, I moved to Arizona. because it's jobs. That's prosperity. Okay. So right now, China wants Taiwan.
Okay.
Can't you see it? I can see it. China is building warships all over. India's building some good warships also, because you have to defend this part of the world. Or you could say, oh, we're going to live in peace. We're going to get rid of all of our warships. You'd be overrunning. Pakistan would run down here, but you get rid of all of our police. You must have strong people. Mr. Modi is a strong man. I have a weak man. His name is Biden. Okay, weak leaders. This man here, Trump, strong leader. This here is blockchain, Bitcoin.
Okay, so this guy's anti-communism, pro-Bitcoin, pro-Trump, anti-Biden. So this is kind of just like a typical right-wing guy. Bitcoin hype. Let's meme it.
I have Bitcoin. How many Bitcoin do you have?
I have a fair amount.
Okay, good. So the reason I buy Bitcoin is because it's got integrity. It holds its shape because of blockchain.
My advice on Bitcoin is if you're poor, you're always going to be poor. And if you're rich, maybe you can get richer. That's pretty much it. Like, I don't know a lot of poor people who are making money off of Bitcoin anytime recently. If you bought Bitcoin a long time ago, then maybe you can make some money, dude. I made the tiniest bit of money. I sold too early, though.
I don't like this here. So I go around the world saying to people, stop working for this. And the school teachers say, no, you have to work for this. Get a job, get a job,
okay,
get a
so
job.
this like Asian boomer guy is just shilling Bitcoin. This is kind of clickbaity.
But you know, and I know what's coming next. What's coming next?
War.
AI.
AI. Okay, let's speak about AI, so.
No, AI's jobs will disappear.
Okay. How do you feel about it? What else do you feel about it?
I don't feel anything about it. I don't need a job.
You don't think that new jobs will be created?
I don't feel a thing about it. I don't need a job. Boomer! I mean, is it screwed up if I say I want the jobs to disappear because I don't want to work a job and I just want UBI bucks? I just want to read and stay cozy and watch stuff and not have people make up allegations about me. That's pretty much it, dude. That's all I can ask for, man. Yikes auto, bros.
No.
So what will happen to all those people?
That's what my question is. I can see the future. My God. I just gave you the biggest tip of all. Buy this. No.
Silver, bucko.
No, I think
I am pretty good with money.
Yeah, we know that.
Okay. I'm telling you, this is fake. But most people in India, America, England, China, go to school, get a job, work for money. Worst advice possible.
There's no escape from poverty. That's my advice. And I'm poor, so maybe, maybe my advice doesn't mean a lot to you. There's no escape from poverty. This rich man is going to tell you to buy silver or gold or Bitcoin. Your tiny bit of money is going to turn into a tiny fraction of a Bitcoin or a little bit of silver, and you're just going to be poor, dude. You're still going to be poor. Instead of having barely any money, you're going to have barely any Bitcoin, and chances are you didn't buy at the right time, and you probably won't sell at the right time. You're just going to be poor, dude. Everybody, raise your hand if you're poor. Okay, everybody who's raising their hands, you're poor, dude, and that's how it is. So enjoy being poor.
Okay. That's what my message is.
Seriously.
All right.
Okay. Work for assets. Don't work for this.
Gotcha.
So I own lots of real estate.
Yeah, you're a boomer. You own lots of real estate. Very good. You know, my dad's a boomer, and he also owns some real estate. Basically, boomers own real estate, and, there's some people my age who own real estate. But if you don't own real estate, you're probably not going to own real estate. So, basically, guys, good game. It's over if you're not rich already. If you don't already own real estate, buckle up, buckaroos, because the roller coaster's starting. It doesn't matter if your seatbelt's on. It's on.
I own lots of Bitcoin. I own cattle.
So basically, this boomer's going to brag about... This boomer, I don't need to point out that he's Asian, but he is. I guess that makes it funnier. This Asian boomer is bragging about owning things, And somehow this has something to do with World War III. Okay. Okay, well, you know, if you think about it, I guess it does have everything to do with World War III. There's a lot of boomers of all races bragging about owning things right now. Good job, boomers.
I own oil wells. I don't work for this.
So these are playlists made especially for you. Tailor-made.
Well, that was very special. Okay, well, apparently World War III is coming. We didn't learn much about it, but I think that was good for a laugh. Let's read a comment or two. Ranveer is so underprepared for this interview. When you have a guest so prolific, it's so vital to ask the right questions so that the audience gets benefited from the wisdom of the guest. Oh, so it's his fault that he wanted to rant about owning cattle and Bitcoin? Love to see honest people. I'm amazed to see where you have reached, Ranveer. I don't really know this Ranveer guy. I'd love 10 minutes with this man. Unfortunately, Robert is speaking the truth. He was the only man who predicted fall of Lehman Bank 2008, U.S. days before it crashed. He understands finance. He is right. Well, if he's right about AI and jobs getting automated, I mean, they're either just going to let everybody die or they're going to do UBI, which is probably not good. But society's it's just already not good, guys. Hopefully you like to be comfy and watch stuff. If you got a job, hang on to it. Let's move on. Okay, I was intrigued for this one. This came out 13 hours ago. Fox News, Pentagon's Israel war warning. This is exactly what we were concerned about. Okay, let's get it going.
Let's bring in Pentagon spokeswoman Sabrina Singh. Great to have you again. Sabrina, thanks for being here. So Iran, top of mind, right? The Wall Street Journal writing this. So much for the embargo on Iran's missiles. The United States lets sanctions expire as Tehran's proxies fire away at Israeli and American targets. Going on to also say, here's the contradiction of current U.S.-Iran policy in a nutshell. While the Pentagon deploys a THAAD missile defense system to the Middle East to protect U.S. bases from the volley of missiles fired by Iranian proxies, the Biden administration has let the international embargo on Iran's missile program lapse, which basically means the cap has been lifted. Iran can now send missiles anywhere that it wants, including to these proxies.
So this is El Horacio Cortez's like evil twin sister or something, or it's Cortez in a disguise or something. They got kind of a similar look.
Possibly going to widen this war. Describe for us the level of concern the Pentagon has about that.
Thanks, Dana, so much for having me on today. This is exactly what we're concerned about. We are concerned about other actors, particularly Iran, looking for a way to widen this conflict beyond Israel. And so our biggest concern is messaging both privately and publicly to other actors who want to take advantage of this conflict. Don't. And that's why you saw at the direction of the president, the secretary moved 2 carrier strike groups into the region.
Remember they said earlier, the key word is escalate. Escalate. Iran-backed attacks on U.S. troops could escalate. Ooh, Iran-backed attacks on U.S. troops. I feel like we could be in some sort of an elementary school or middle school class right now. And it's like, circle the key words, kids. Iran-backed attacks on U.S. troops. Iran attack U.S. Escalate. Iran, U.S. escalate. Very good. Oh, man.
To bolster our deterrence, but to also protect our U.S. forces. And we are seeing an uptick in attacks on our U.S. forces, both in Iraq and Syria. And so that's why you're seeing, as you mentioned, the THAAD and the Patriot batteries going towards the region to help bolster our presence, but also to help reinforce security concerns and security measures for our U.S. forces on the ground there.
There was a lot to track, as you well know. Vladimir Putin this week was in Beijing. Sergei Lavrov, the Russian foreign minister, was in Tehran. Wow. And the list goes on. Here's how the Hill characterizes the current situation. The five-front war that the U.S. is unprepared to fight. Since World War II, it's impossible to recall any time when the United States confronted as many testing issues and crises as today. There is no manual or book in existence on how to manage a five-front war. Is that how you would characterize this? And if not, how would you?
I wouldn't necessarily characterize it as that, but what I will say is that we have the most lethal fighting force this world has ever seen. The United States is able to support Ukraine in its war against Russia and support Israel in its defense and after the horrific attack on October 7th. So we feel very confident that we can do both. And we are confident in also our ability, our capabilities. Earlier, your reporter mentioned the 26th MU, the Marine Expeditionary Unit that is in the region. Really there to help bolster deterrence. Again, we are the most lethal fighting force the world has seen. And so that's why we are going to
America strong.
Continue to urge a strong message of deterrence. That's why you're seeing 2 carrier strike groups in the region. And that's why you're seeing the Secretary Austin here and are across the...
Yeah, so the United States is getting involved in the Israel war is what I'm getting from this.
Department and the White House continue to the message to those who want to seek to widen.
Pentagon cracks down on holding Iran accountable. Pentagon, boomers who want to send us to war. Holding Iran accountable. Oh man, guys. Israel versus Iran. United States and Israel versus Iran. China.
In this conflict, do not do that. And I think we're sending a pretty strong message.
Sabrina, it's clear that the administration is worried on a lot of fronts, including reports that it is readying plans for mass evacuations if the Gaza war escalates. What's the U.S. military's role there? What would that look like?
Well, if that were to ever happen, if that does happen, the U.S. military, of course, would be there to support the State Department.
Man, this girl gives me anime vibes, dude. She's so cool. She's got her little, jacket, and she's just... Man. Fancy war brief woman. How do women get all these jobs, dude? Why am I not on the news briefing people on war? I guess you gotta finish college, right? I was doing good. Doing good. Just didn't want to be there. Whatever. She's giving me anime vibes, dude.
Whatever it needs to help get U.S. citizens out safely and to provide security. But again, we're not there yet. We're hoping that we can continue to monitor the situation, what's happening on the ground. What we're really focused on is sending a clear message to Iran and also making sure that Israel has what it needs in their fight right now. The Secretary has been having near daily conversations with Minister Gallant in Israel about their potential ground incursion and also making sure that innocent lives, civilian lives are protected.
You know what Israel might need, guys? A bunch of Zoomers. Let's go, Zoomers. You know, guys, there's not that many things I have going for me in my life, but I'm 32 years old, and I'm not going to get drafted if there's a draft. Sorry, Zoomers. It's the way the cookie crumbles, man. Boy, millennials probably had it better than the Zoomers, now that I think about it. We're kind of tortured by memories of the good times we had, though. You guys are, probably better adapted to how crappy things are. Oh, my gosh, you guys.
That is a priority for any type of event that might occur in the next few days.
It's been reported by many that we're urging Israel to delay the ground incursion into Gaza. Is that true?
I would say we are the IDF is one of the most capable militaries in the world. We are providing our support. We are providing our assistance. It's really up to them to decide when they move forward with any type of incursion. That's not really our place to say.
But if the
we are continuing to advise.
If the U.S. had an option here, does the United States Pentagon, does the United States government believe that a delay into Gaza is better or not?
Again, that's really up for the Israelis to make that decision. We are providing and assisting them and providing security assistance for them for what they might need. We are counseling them. We are hearing from them as well. our concern and our constant communication with them through Minister Gallant and others is to ensure that innocent civilians are in fact safe and protected, and that Israel really does uphold the law of war.
One of the things that's been happening is that Hamas has been talking to Qatar in order to, I guess, to figure out a way to decide which hostages are going to be released 2 by 2. But the main leadership of Hamas lives in luxury in Qatar, in Doha. Is there any reason that the Pentagon feels that Qatar shouldn't be declared a state sponsor of terror if Hamas leadership is allowed to continue to live there?
Look, we are encouraged by the conversations that continue to happen with hostages being released. You saw 2 Americans over the weekend, and then 2 more just, I believe, yesterday. We have partners and allies in the region that are continuing to work to pressure Hamas to release these hostages. But again, these hostages should never be held hostage in the first place. Again, we work with Qatar on a range of issues. They are continuing to be an ally here.
Yeah, hostages. Let's see. Let's try 7-minute mark. Let's go.
Lethal fighting forces the world has ever seen. Iran knows that. And while they continue to launch these attacks on our U.S. forces, it is our decision at our time when we choose to respond to that.
But to date, no action has been taken on behalf of the U.S. military, the greatest fighting force the world has ever seen.
Well, that's
a lot of what she's been saying. She's just been like boasting up how powerful the U.S. is. Yeah, guys, so sounds like Iran's been attacking her boys. Sounds like wartime.
Again, we are very mindful here that we do not want to see this widen into a regional conflict. And we are also very strategic on when and if we choose to respond. You saw the USS Carney engage in cruise missiles that were heading toward the ship. You saw the Carney engage and fight and shoot those down. You've seen our U.S. forces in Iraq and Syria continue to do the same. But again, I'm not going to get ahead of any decision that the president, that the secretary makes when we choose to decide on a response.
One of the things that you've come on to talk to us about are these holds that Senator Tommy Tuberville has held on military promotions because of abortion policy. And the concern had been about readiness from the Pentagon, saying that we need to make sure we have this. Those holds are not ended. I know that they've tried to move
holds on military promotion because of abortion policy. Interesting.
Few through the Senate. Is this continuing to be a problem for the Pentagon? Would you be willing to revisit that policy decision so that those holds could be lifted?
Absolutely. This is a huge problem for the Pentagon. It certainly strikes to our readiness as well. Right now, we have an acting person in both leading the Navy and the Air Force. We have over 270 nominees that are outstanding to be confirmed, including the defense attaché for Israel and Iraq. So these are incredibly important positions at a time when, this is an incredibly hard and difficult time in the Middle East. And also you have Russia continuing its war of aggression on Ukraine. And so we do need our Senate confirmed nominees in place as soon as possible.
Oh, just one last question here, Sabrina. I really appreciate your time today. A lot to cover, and that's pretty.
Sabrina, man. Pentagon waifu, dude. She's cool.
Pretty obvious from our conversation. We're getting word from our correspondent in Tel Aviv that Senator Richard Blumenthal, the Democrat from Connecticut, said that Iran gave Hamas the, quote, green light to carry out that massacre in the morning of October 7th. Is the senator right on that?
Look, I'm not going to speak to intelligence, but what is very clear, there is a direct connection between Iran and Hamas. How much Iran knew about the attack that Hamas was going to launch.
Yeah, connection between Iran and Hamas. Already heard this. I don't know, at most 2 weeks ago or so, maybe longer than that. Time is flying by. Yeah, I heard that narrative quite a long time ago that Iran was backing Hamas and, oh boy, wartime.
October 7th. I think we're still doing our own analysis of that, but there is no question there is a clear thread between the two. We know that Iran continues to train, equip financially support Hamas in its endeavors in Gaza. And so I think that's certainly a clear link to draw there.
Sabrina Singh, the deputy spokesperson at the Pentagon, thank you for your time this morning. We know you're busy. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And
I just kind of wonder, like, what role did COVID play in all of this? And I don't want to speculate anymore on that, because obviously it just happened, you know? Pandemics happen. Yikes. Okay, anyway. Reading the comments. This is what happens when you have idiots and corrupt politicians in our political office. Okay. If I was the enemy and I saw Biden say don't, I'd laugh and keep going with my plans. The fact that Brandon and McConnell are helping out Iran is absolutely disgusting. Let's go, Brandon. Trump 2024. Okay. What a terrible administration. I don't believe or trust a single word this administration or the Pentagon has to say about the situation we find ourselves in right now. Moreover, I'm terrified that a man that can't tie his shoes is the commander-in-chief. Yeah, you know, I guess Trump was better. This administration is so weak, we are in deep trouble. This administration is a joke. That's what everybody's saying. If the USA cared about Israel, they wouldn't be supporting Iran. Think about it. Well, the United States is clearly supporting Israel, so how are we supporting Iran and Israel? Is that really what's happening? That's not good. Okay. Last one. 2 days ago, escalation in the Israel-Hamas war is most likely, former Green Beret warns. Escalation. There's that term again.
Right now, Israeli forces on the brink of a major ground invasion in Gaza. We've talked about it for days. As the U.S. increases its show of force in the region, the Pentagon sending more air defense systems to the Middle East while ordering more troops to be ready to deploy if necessary. Our next guest knows all about fighting the war against terror. Former Special Forces Green Beret Daniel Fielding served in Afghanistan. He joins us now. Daniel, thank you for joining us. First and foremost, thank you for your service. We look at what the Pentagon just put out. They say, hey, we're going to deploy. We have more troops in ready to deploy mode. Don't really tell us what they are, but what they do tell us is they're going to use this, what's called the THAAD system and the Patriot missile system. One of them being the THAAD being something that, both of them being intercept devices. Basically, our version of the Iron Curtain. What does that tell you about our posture in the region?
Well, it tells us, you know, we're in for some serious things and escalation is most likely. And I want to thank you for having me on. It's great to be here and thank you for your service.
U.S. sends more air defense systems to Middle East. Okay, so what we just watched before this was actually newer. This is 2 days ago. But let's keep going.
As well, Joey. But the thing I see right now is escalation is going to increase, and it's going to end up turning into urban combat. You can only do so much with airstrikes, and we're going to need to do CQB, or close quarters battle. Like you talked about, there's going to be some sort of ground invasion. That's the only way you can stop people that are there on the ground that are shooting out rockets. You can only do so much from the air. It's a great asset, but it's limited.
Daniel, we look at the U.S. presence. We have these carrier strike groups. We have the 26th MEU, and you understand a MEU is not a ground invasion force. It's a surgical force. They can intercept boats or go in and get a pilot that's had to eject from an aircraft. But what can happen is special operations units can be inserted into a MEU, and they can support them. Speak to that and what that may mean for any special operations momentum in the area.
So there is MARSOC, and MARSOC has operators of the Raiders. They will go out and they will do DA missions, direct action missions. They will do recon missions for intelligence. I think intelligence is very important right now. I think especially human intelligence is going to be key and crucial. We need connections from people that are inside of the Gaza Strip, and they need to share information so we know where tunnels are, or Israel knows where tunnels are. Because intelligence is going to be what drives the capabilities on the ground. And you're absolutely right. The capabilities there in the Mediterranean are great assets, and special operations can do some amazing things.
Daniel, thank you so much for joining us. Your expertise is incredibly valuable right now, and I appreciate your service.
I'm Steve Ducey.
Okay, so I do see something in the recommended tabs that I think we're going to go ahead and skim through. It's 15 minutes. I will be very fast forwardy. Let's read a couple comments. Trump is so needed. We need strong, bone-crushing leadership. Yeah, you know, I got to kind of go back to the drawing board on, like, presidents. I was kind of rocking with the idea that the president doesn't really matter so much, but Trump at least seems sharper than Biden, you know, for like a war type scenario. So I can at least see it from that perspective. God bless our military and the Israel military. You're in our prayers. If the Palestinians really wanted freedom, they would fight against Hamas and not Israel. Should I give any of my thoughts on this, guys? You know, there's a history of intelligence kind of sponsoring terrorism. There's a history of the Anglo-American establishment, United States, EU, United States military-industrial complex war machine wanting to go to war. Israel kind of like wants to deal with Palestine. Hamas is bad, that's for sure. But, you know, maybe it's like the Joker said in The Dark Knight. Sometimes all it takes is a little push. I don't know. I don't want to get into that right now. I want to be sensitive about these topics. All right, retired general warns this could all spin out of control very easily. Doomer Corps.
Growing and serious concerns that the United States could be pulled into a new regional war involving Iran as tensions escalate throughout the Middle East.
Very interesting looking sweetie here.
The USS Eisenhower aircraft carrier is now set to operate in the waters near Iran for the first time since 2021. The U.S. is also reportedly planning for mass evacuations from Israel and Lebanon if the conflict expands.
10 hours ago.
And the Pentagon warns it will hold Iran responsible for attacks on U.S. troops. All of this comes on the heels of an impending Israeli ground invasion of the Gaza Strip. Hello, everyone. This is Outnumbered. I'm Kayleigh McEnany, here with my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Emily Campagno. Also joining us, former State Department spokesperson and founder of Polaris National Security, Morgan Ortagus.
Let's go.
An Army veteran, former NFL.
Here?
If Iran or its proxies attack U.S. personnel anywhere, make no mistake, we will defend our people. We will defend our security swiftly and decisively. To all the members of this council, if you, like the United States, want to prevent this conflict from spreading, tell Iran, tell its proxies, in public, in private, through every means, do not open another front against Israel in this conflict. Do not attack Israel's partners.
Okay, that's pretty clear.
From the administration thus far. And to that, let's bring in retired U.S. Army General Keith Kellogg, Fox News contributor, and former National Security Advisor to former Vice President Mike Pence. You know, General Kellogg, it struck me because those are the most extensive remarks we've heard about Iran. And I asked our brain room to go and search for the times that Biden has mentioned Iran since October 7th, the terrorist attack. I could find 4 mentions of Iran from the president. Let's play 2 of those.
Well, look, Kayleigh, thanks for having me today.
One moment, General Kellogg. Let's play those 2 remarks from President Biden.
Iran is supporting Russia's in Ukraine, and it's supporting Hamas and other terrorist groups in the region. And we'll continue to hold them accountable, I might add.
We've moved the U.S. carrier fleet to the Eastern Mediterranean, and we're sending more fighter jets there in that region, and made it clear to the Iranians, be careful.
There's limited fighting already on the northern Israeli border, and I wonder, what is your message to Hezbollah and its backer, Iran?
Don't
Don't do it.
General Kellogg, I wanted to play those remarks for you because it's astonishing to me that that's all we've heard from the president. I feel like our former boss, former commander-in-chief, President Trump, might have had different words. What do you think he would have said?
Yeah, well, look, messaging is so very important, and you know that, Kaylee. Let me go back to what the President of the United States, Donald Trump, said in a State of the Union address. Very clear. You can pull it up. If you attack an American, your life is forfeit. Clear, simple, to the point. Not kill if you attack. And you have to have consistency, and you know that.
So this is just a lot of, like, chest beating, like, oh, America's so tough, and we're beating the war drums, gang. America, if you attack an American. And yeah, I mean, I get it. Wartime. What else is there to say, man? This is 15 minutes. Let's be strategic here. We're wrapping it up.
Very well from being in the White House. Have your message. Be it very concise. Be it very consistent. Say it over and over and over again. And then when that happens, you follow it up with force if need be. That's how you send the message. You don't have all these words, don't, we'll think about it, maybe. No, it has to be clear. There's only about 7 or 8 people that people really listen to when they speak out of the White House. It's sort of like a giant funnel. You put all those words in there, and there's 8 people, be it the National Security Advisor, the President of the United States, or the Vice President, or the spokesman, who's ever out there. There's only a few. Listen to what they say. But our message has been very inconsistent because you're not really sure, okay, do they really mean what they say?
Let's
and is it really a forceful enough message?
721. Here we go.
Put it this way. Sometimes you have to punch the other guy in the nose to get their attention. That's what Mike Tyson used to say. I think we need to do it as well.
I think
comparing our military strategy to Mike Tyson. Literal just like boomer chest beating. Wartime. Let's go. You messed with the United States.
Right. And you also can't operate from a position of fear. This quote stuck out to me from Axios that never before has Axios talked to so many top government officials who in private are so worried about so many overseas conflicts. Officials tell us that inside the White House, this was the heaviest, most chilling week since Biden took office. Do you worry about the posture of the White House? That seems like a place of fear.
Well, look, even Bob Gates made the comment, your former Secretary of Defense and CIA director, this is the worst he's seen in the world in the last 75 years. And they compound themselves. Look, this is like a juggler juggling balls.
And what was 75 years ago? World War II. World War III. It's pretty much all been said, guys. It's writing's on the wall, man. Yeah, I am going to upload this video. I don't think my commentary was like life-changing or anything, but if you're like me, see, this was me like catching up on everything and just recording my reaction. So maybe you guys are catching up and I'm catching up, and basically, guys, we're going to war. That's basically what's happening.
Add another ball and you add another ball, all of a sudden one of them is going to drop. How you stop that is you have to attack the first incident that comes up, and both diplomatically and by force as well, to stop it from escalating. Escalating means more actions occur. And you're seeing that occur. Right now you have, with China and Taiwan, you have North Korea, you have Ukraine, you have in Russia, you have what's happening in the Middle East right now. And you can only handle so many of these effectively. You've been, again, Kaylee, you've been there in the Situation Room. If all of these come at you and they compound themselves, God only gives you so many hours in a day to respond effectively. That's the reason you have to, as the old Western saying is, cut them off at the pass. You have to attack it early. You have to attack it forcefully. You have to attack it diplomatically. And they're not doing that. And I just think this thing could spin out of control really easy if they don't watch out.
No doubt about it. General Keith Kellogg, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Harrison, I think Axios asked a really good question. You know who's watching?
Okay. Well, I wanted to hear the Kellogg segment. Let's read a couple of comments and wrap her up. He doesn't believe in defending our borders. I'm so sick of the empty phrase, hold accountable. You know, guys, in times of war like this is when it's just really easy to be honest and say, look, a country needs to have a people. And I want to be careful elaborating on that. But we've been very generous with refugees, and it's like, whoa, now we're at war. Basically with these people, and man, it's not about being racist or not liking anybody, but let's just see what happens from here, guys. War is reality, okay? They said something about abortion legislation in the military. It's holding back promoting military officials, and they need to kind of like speed this stuff up. It's probably some sort of a leftist liberal abortion thing, and they need to hurry up and just be like, okay, never mind, nobody cares, no abortions allowed. Let's go ahead and get our new generals going. Everybody needs to go to war. Like, I need abortions. It's like, you know what? Like, let's just speed up the process because it doesn't really matter anymore. Everybody's liberal feelings, just, it doesn't really matter in times of war. And here we are in times of war, in very close proximity to a lot of liberal feelings, things happening. And this girl is so hot, and she's unattainable unless you have some high status job. Look at her. She's on television. She's doing it. Wee! She's so beautiful, and she's doing it. And I'm a chud, and we're all chuds, dude. Chuddy! Okay. I'd rather have Trump run the USA. Yeah, nobody likes the administration. Escalation. Iran backing Hamas. United States backing Israel, obviously, but something about Biden and Iran. China, always in the, I don't know, in it somehow. And Ukraine, Russia. That's pretty much it, guys. Just wanted to get up to speed on war stuff. And basically, it's not looking good. But, you know, if you're like me and you've been out of it, hopefully that brings you up to speed a little bit. And maybe I'll keep checking in with stuff as time goes on. And I hope you have a great rest of your evening or morning. God bless.